Hi, welcome to Zen Supermom, the interview series that takes you from mad multitasking to blissful balance. I'm your host, Alena Gomes Rodrigues, and today I'm with Gemma McFall, chronic pain practitioner and strength coach. Ha, I managed. Hi, Gemma.
Hi, Alena. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being with us. So, the topic today, as your title suggests, it will be about chronic pain. It will be about our physical bodies and what the stress and our emotions have to do with it. So, I'd like to start, as usual, with your story, please, Gemma. Share with us.
Yeah, I'm happy to share with you. So basically, I was what you would call a typical overachiever. I put 100% effort into absolutely everything, people pleaser, the works. And I was, constantly working hard, always to achieve the next thing. And we were living in the UK, about to become expats to move to Dubai. And I had a tiny injury on my back. It would never normally cause any problems whatsoever, but we were literally just leaving. So I straight away was like, I need tablets, I need this, that, and the other. So I immediately went on the medication doctor route. I moved to Dubai, and this sort of injury, honestly, it should have cured almost immediately. It was so minor, but it went on and on and on. And then very quickly, the doctor's appointments turned into physiotherapy, chiropractor, osteopathy, the works. And I had injections in my spine. It just got worse and worse. So we were in Dubai for 8 years, and it progressively got worse throughout that whole time. Miraculously, I had 2 children while I was in Dubai, and for both pregnancies, there was zero pain, completely zero pain, and then it would come back with a vengeance straight after the pregnancy. So I convinced myself, oh, it's because my spine is in a different shape, all this like stories. Anyway, when we finally moved to Sri Lanka in 2017, it was off the scale painful. I couldn't do anything. By this point, I'd already upgraded to a better mattress, better chair, better shoes. And I found myself lying on the floor in Sri Lanka with 2 kids crawling around. I had a 6-month and a 2.5-year-old. They're crawling around my head. I couldn't stand up. And it was like excruciating shooting pains. And by this point, I'd already had so many surgeons looking at MRI scans and, everything. And so I was in a state of panic, and I was Googling, how to look after children in a wheelchair. I was having to have somebody else lift my baby into the high chair so that I could then play with her at a level that wasn't causing me pain. So I really had kind of got myself into this a downward spiral. Anyway, lucky for me, as I moved to Sri Lanka, I also left my HR. I was a HR director in Dubai, and I'd left that career behind and started to retrain as a coach. And so on this journey of learning to be a coach, I figured out, because somebody kind of just pointed me in the right direction about the mind-body stuff. So that's when literally everything turned around for me. So do you want me to explain what that means, or?
Yeah, let's talk about that coincidence because I don't really believe in coincidences. I believe we are supposed to learn the lessons when we are ready, they show up. So what is it about the body mind thing? Yeah, let's explain how it works together.
Yeah, you're so right. It wasn't a coincidence. I'd decided, I went all out, and I was like, I have had enough of this. And so I started doing a crazy a physiotherapy plan that I'd made for myself. And then the very next day, I was being coached by a peer coach as part of our course. And I was the client, and I said, I just want to cut my back off. I'm in so much pain. And it was actually the tutor that was watching her coaching that said to me, you need to check out this book. So he put me on to John Sarno, which is, he's an expert in this area on the mind-body stuff. So basically, the mind-body stuff is that the pain, although it's very physical, like I was crying in pain, it's the you've kind of got this pain because of a long period of building up stress. So for a long time I'd been dealing with stuff, and I really had been smiling at the time, and I was fine. And you push down this stress, push down, push down, push down, but there is only so much pushing down of stress you can do before your body just You know, clearly my body was trying to tell me something for all those 10 years, which was slow down, take care of yourself. And I just ignored it. But the thing is with pain, after you've gone past 3 months, it becomes what we call chronic pain, because the body should fix itself naturally, unless it's literally like a broken bone. The pain should go away after 3 months. And so if it doesn't, it's because you've learned the pain. So you've created a pain cycle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so let's get into that, because I can relate to my experience. So also like corporate job, high demanding, and all sitting by the computer. So I always thought that my pain in my shoulders and my neck was because of this, like sitting by the computer the whole day. But then I had my daughter, and the pain kind of, it moved a little bit, but it was still in my shoulders and at the back, like of the chest, at the high of the back. And I was thinking, well, it's because she's like a heavy baby and she's always been much bigger in her size than what she should be for her age. But when it hit me, this realization, it was like, I actually told myself the story I had in my head when I started listening to it, that the whole, like the weight of the world is sitting on my shoulders. That was what's running through my head, and that's exactly what I felt in my body. And that's where I'm relating to what you're saying, and that's where I think many moms will feel the same. Like, how many of you are feeling it in your neck and in your shoulders, because it's the stuff is sitting there. Yeah,
absolutely. And with the mind body stuff, it's the pain goes to where it is most logical for you. So if you're a writer, it goes to your wrists. If you're a runner, let's say it would go, I was a runner and then I couldn't run for 10 years because of pain, because it went to my back. You know, somebody that works in an office will convince themselves that it's because of the chair, you know, so like working from home or this. And then when you have kids, you know, oh, it's because I'm holding them on an angle like this, or, you know, I hold them. But the human body is so strong. We were designed to carry babies like this. It shouldn't cause pain, right? So the mind is super clever, and it puts the pain specifically where you're expecting it, so that you then justify it, which means you can then ignore the stress, and then you can carry on being a busy mom, you know, working, and just keep on pushing it down. And I find that most people that I work with, they say, you know, well, it's because of, and then they can immediately justify it. Either, oh, it's because it runs in the family, or it's like skin rashes and allergies and things. Oh, it's because of the temperature, or it's because of the country I'm in. So everyone finds a reason. So then it's somehow easier to live with the pain when you have a reason. But the underlying reason is always what we call like suppressed emotions. So yeah.
Suppressed emotions. Okay, so if we go, let's keep open mind for this, because for the logical brain, this doesn't make any sense. Like, we always tend to blame it on the outside, like that this is why it's happening to my body, and it's just my body, it's not my brain. So, but let's be open. So we consider that this is really connected with the stress and with the emotions that are unprocessed, that are being shut down. Yeah. So how do we heal this? Let's go to the next step then. So what do we do about it?
Yeah, well, so first we need to be aware that this mind-body stuff even exists, right? Because it's not something that a doctor will necessarily tell you, because a doctor is not trained in this. So it's about the awareness, and then it's about understanding that the pain was originally, the pain was absolutely real, which then caused fear. And then the more fear you get, the more physical pain you get, because the fear itself keeps our bodies like locked in like fight or flight response. So we're like this. So our bodies are never going to heal while you're in this fear, which then causes more pain, so it keeps on feeding the pain fear cycle. So we have to break the pain fear cycle. And the only way you can do that, some people literally learn the theory and then they're like, yes, that's it. And then they're like what we would call a book cure, and they just magically get better because they realize that the stress is causing it. And then unfortunately, not most people can do that, right? But once you break that pain fear cycle, logically, you have to believe it, logically, it makes sense. Then it's about looking at where the stress is coming from. So it could be from your personality. Like, for example, most people have this, are high achievers, highly responsible, never say no, people pleasers, you know.
Yeah, the perfectionist. Yeah.
Buddhist.
There with you.
Yeah, and when you are one of those people, like I am for sure, you think that that's the right way to be, and everyone's like that. So it's actually, the first step is helping you to see that you don't have to always give your full 100% self before others, if that makes sense. So that's one thing. So in the day, like right now, what's your personality and how's that feeding the stress? So that's what I do first, always with people, because that's a tangible, practical thing. Figure out what your natural strengths are, and then you can start using your personality, your strengths to help you rather than to hold you back. That's one part. Then the other part is looking backwards at the stress that you've accumulated all these years. What have you dealt with where you've just pushed it down? And then it's about, what did you feel at that time? Go back, feel it fully so it leaves your body, and then already a layer of stress is gone. And then bit by bit by bit, we process the emotion, and then the body starts to gradually calm down. Because we learn now, like in today's busy world, we learn that what happened to us as a child that was stressful, we don't, we never processed it then, but we process it now, and it can just, and it brings us right back to.
Yeah, and this is already a little bit advanced. Like for someone who's never heard about this before, they're like, "What do you talk about? Like processing my emotions, feeling that? Like, how does that look like?" So maybe let's go there and break it down a little bit for someone who's thinking, and it's the perfectionist, stressed moms. Like we have the tendency to, no, I'm fine, I can do this. I've got this. I can do it by myself. So how does processing our emotions look like at the moment? Because we go to the extremes. Either it's nothing, and then kids triggers our button and we blow up and it's a full-blown mommy tantrum. So it's like these two extremes. So what does need to happen in between to really process the emotion?
Yeah, good question. I get so carried away with this. I'm so sorry. It's like I'm so passionate about people not living with pain. I just want to tell everyone, like, it's possible to not have the stress and the pain. So, okay, so here's the thing. I was exactly the same. At 7:15 on the dot every night, I would get really, really bad back pain. Why? Because it's bedtime for the kids. So my personality is very organized, very rigid like this. So it's like, oh, it's 7 o'clock, then we need to do this, and by 7:15 I want them in bed. And of course my children have different personalities, and so that was the trigger from me going from 0 to like, and there's the stress, and then there's the pain, and then of course straight after it's the fear, like, what if this pain never gets better? And then it makes my mood worse. So what I learned, or what I do now, is I literally, I look at the situation differently, because I'm like, I know what my personality is now. So I use my personality in a different way. That's one thing. But also, if I get feeling like this, like you can feel it coming up, you can feel your body like, I literally put myself in timeout. I will go to my room, separate from the kids, and I give myself a timeout. And I breathe, and I think, whew, that wasn't them, it was me, it's me. And I breathe through it. And then often I will try journaling. So before I go back to the kids, I'll grab a piece of paper, and it's not like pretty journaling. It's like a scrap of old scrappy paper. And then you start writing, I feel. And then what do you feel? Like, I feel angry that I have to put the kids to bed. I feel annoyed that no one's helping me do this, And you say all the things that you would never ever be allowed to say out loud to your child or your husband or whatever. And it can be really dark, some of the stuff that you say, but once you've processed it on paper, it helps the emotion to kind of flow through you, or simply just list the emotions. I feel angry, I feel sad, I feel alone, just list them. And by listing them, it already helps you to separate from the situation.
Of that, and then you can just scratch the paper, throw it away, and it's done. It's out.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, my biggest journaling tip is double write everything. So write the first line and then write over the top of it so that it's completely illegible. No one can read it. And so then your mind will just let rip, you know, you can write anything, even if it's ripped up in the bin, burnt, no one can read it. So this, I would try this.
I love that, writing on top of that. That's a great tip. Yeah. So those are great tips. Those are great tips on processing the emotions, and we will be talking about journaling more in depth. But this already helps to open up the Pandora box, I would say, because those are the things we don't want to look at. Like, keep them closed up. I don't want to deal with that. It's too much. So this looks like a safe way, in a way, how to process. So what you mentioned, some certain like personality types that are more susceptible to creating like these chronic pain problems due to stress. But what would be your advice if we talk now again specifically like for moms, and we have the tendency often to lose our own identity? Like the moment we give birth, we become mom, and all the rest tends to get kind of like pushed to the back. Like, does that relate somehow with the pain? Does it impact in a way?
Yes, I would say massively. Because in my own experience, I feel like when I had a career in HR, I was HR director, and it was like on my business card, everybody knew it. And every day I got immediate feedback from my team, from everybody, you know, so I always knew I was doing a good job. But then when you become a mum and you don't have this feedback loop, children don't like stop for a minute and say, you know, good job, mommy, I'm giving you like employee of the month. Like, that just doesn't happen, right? So I actually, for me, I had my two kids whilst I was still working. So I still had that work identity. And actually for a short period of time, I was like, yes, I'm super mom. I'm like working and I've got children. Like, look at me. But honestly, I was just trying to like be a high achiever in both areas. It was crazy. But when I moved to Sri Lanka, that was when I no longer had the job title, and I was just, it was like, oh, hi, who are you? And I'd be like, oh, I'm such and such's mom, or I'm such and such's wife. And so my confidence just went through the floor. And I think for anyone going through this pain journey and stress, for me, I think building confidence is so important. It's the foundation. I think you need the foundation of confidence before you start digging around in any kind of childhood past. You need to feel good in yourself right now. So
Love that. And this is where your strength assessment comes in, right? That's why you start all of your work by assessing the strength.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So let's go into that, because I know that you brought a gift for our moms that's related to this topic as well. So tell us about your free gift, please.
Yeah. So it's very easy to know if the pain you have is mind body, and sometimes it's called TMS if your people are like Googling it. So mind body or TMS, it's very easy to know if you have this by just answering, you know, certain questions about the pain, about your personality. So I've put together a quiz. It's very quick, and you literally just go through, are you this, are you that, are you this, are you this? And the questions are quite thought-provoking, and you'd be like, actually, yeah, like I never thought about this. And so by the end of the questions, you will have a really good idea if you can, you know, cure the pain by the mind body route. And you know, it's so funny, because if you'd have said to me when I was lying on the floor looking at an MRI scan, is this because of stress? I would have probably punched you in the face, because I would be like, no, this is not stress. This is not stress. I've got it all together. And it's only in hindsight that I really can see, because stress is not, it's not what you think. It's the stuff you can't see that's causing the stress. On the surface, I did not look stressed at all. I didn't even feel stressed, because I'm not feeling. I'd learned not to feel. That's the thing. You learn not to feel. So
I love this. Yeah, I'm just making notes because I love this so much.
Yeah. So, but what I do with them, the very, very first thing I do with clients is put them through, it's called the Clifton Strengths Assessment. And it's a quick assessment. And by the end of it, you know what your top 5 strengths are. And very quickly, almost literally immediately on the first session with me, you would know why certain people trigger you, even if that's your husband or children or whatever, or like boss. And you will know how to get more joy from using your strengths better. So it's like immediately like a twofold benefit. And it's not like one of these assessments where you've got a string of letters, or you're like like it's practical. It's really, really practical. And so, yeah, that's the very first thing, this strengths assessment. It's for me personally, it was a complete game changer. So that's why I now introduce it with everything I do with clients.
Sounds great. So everybody go now, click on that button to grab your access as well to this quiz to find out. Gemma, just with respect of time, we have to start wrapping this up. So what would be your last words of wisdom you want to leave our moms with?
Oh gosh, don't live with pain. Don't live with stress. Do something. Watch all of these, with the webinars and learn as much as you can. Do what resonates with you. But if you have any physical pain, even if you've justified it, even if you've seen an MRI scan, even if it runs in the family, still look into this mind-body stuff. It's new. You won't have heard of it because it's just coming out now. Look at it, because if you learn the mind-body stuff, you can pass it on to your kids, so that breaks the cycle of like the world being in this stressed, pain situation. So yeah, don't live with pain and stress. Do something.
I love it. Thank you very much, Gemma. Where can moms find more about you if they want to listen to more to what you have to say and learn?
Super. So I have a website. It's just my name, GemmaMcFall.com. And yeah, you can find me there. Drop me an email. I'm always, I could talk about this stuff literally forever. Drop me an email. I'm so passionate about it. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, your wisdom, and helping so many moms. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Bye.